Welcome to Music Outlook LA, the weekly podcast which highlights the independent artist, whether they are a musician, vocalist, actor, actress, live audio or in-studio engineer, or a videographer, photographer. I'm your host, Will Kinsey. Each episode, we'll look at the gigs of the independent artists, from the venues we play to how we set up and break down, the gear we use and why we use it, and the info we hope you'll find useful as we all make our way in the entertainment industry. Music Outlook LA is brought to you by Kim Z Entertainment, LLC. Go to kim-zentertainment.com to find out what they're doing for the independent artists. Kim Z Entertainment, LLC. Independent entertainment done independently. My guest today is singer, actress, producer, director, Gina Nemo. If you've watched TV crime dramas in the late 80s to early 90s, you may be familiar with a show called 21 Jump Street, where she played Dorothy Pezzino. She's the daughter of jazz composer musician Henry Nemo, whose song Don't Take Your Love From Me was performed by such greats as Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Etta James, just to name a few. Today, Gina's work takes her behind the scenes as a producer, director, and photographer with G-Plan Media. We'll talk about all of that and more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gina Nemo. How you doing?
Hi, Will. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Long time no talk.
Yeah.
How you been?
Good. I know I saw you a long time ago now. It's just, time is just flying. Everything's fantastic. I'm living my best life. I couldn't be happier. I guess this is the best time. Everybody says, things get more difficult at certain stages in your life, but as I've gotten older, I've just gotten better and better, and, dealing with different things has gotten easier. And, I just spread my wings in every avenue that I take. So
cool. So far, everybody that I've had, and this is episode 4 of Music Outlook LA, and
yes.
Well, just to real quick, I chose the name Music Outlook LA because it kind of looks out for the musician, but its show is not just for musicians. It's for actors, actresses, videographers, people in front of the camera or in front of the mic, behind the camera, all of that. Heck, I'll talk to a gaffer if he wants to talk about what he does on the set. I am cool with that. But
that's
Outlook
great.
is because we look out for the musician or the actor, the independent entertainer. But it's also that little tiny basket way at the top of the old clipper ships, and the guy would look out for the reef to keep the ship from crashing. So this is the Outlook. That's how that came up.
I get it.
Yeah. So, that's it. And LA, of course, for LA. But we talk to people all over the country. And this being the 4th episode, I'm really honored to have you with all my guests and all my friends.
Thank you.
Hey, girl, please. And everybody that has been on the show is somebody I know and had known for a long time, and you are no exception.
Yes.
Teenage years, just like other people.
I know.
I interviewed Renee Collins last week, so her show's going to be
cool.
right before yours, and we talked about her thing going on out there. So, this is just, you do this with a cup of coffee, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully everybody will glean something from it. So let's just get started. Tell us about you. Who's Gina? What does Gina do? The acting, the singing, the poetry. Lay it on us.
Okay. So obviously I started out my career singing and acting.
Mm-hmm.
I was in all, the school musicals and plays and all of that. And I did very well as a young artist, even in high school. And by the time I was out of high school, I just hit the pavement running. I was doing shows. I was also working, I did the regular thing, working at restaurants, did what everybody else does to, pay your dues. And then I got a really cool show in downtown LA. It was a stage show called the Earl Carroll Review, and it was like a dinner theater. It was awesome, and I met a lot of really amazing people, Presley's his wife Priscilla Presley. I met lots of old time actors, and it was awesome. And I just kept going through college and auditioning, getting managers, agents. Always loved music. I always wanted to be a singer. That was something since I was a child. My favorite records that I played were Diana Ross and Sam Cooke. And one of my favorite all-time records was Stevie Wonder's Key of Life.
That is one of the greatest albums on the planet.
Yes. I got my first record deal back in the 90s with an independent company out of New York. And they paid me. It was really funny. Okay, here's a tip for your artists.
Okay.
When somebody takes you to a nice restaurant, like in Westwood or Beverly Hills, and they ask you how much you can make a record for, make sure you got those numbers in your head, because I said to the first guy who wanted to sign me, "Oh yeah, I can make a record for $10,000," and he gave me a check right there. And I kept thinking to myself, shoot, I should ask for more money.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. So I got my first record deal with him, but I ran into some complications, and I didn't like the way he was doing business, and I pulled out of the deal. A couple years later, I was able to pull out of the deal. Not everybody is able to do that when you sign a contract, but he let me go. And I took some of the tracks that I had recorded for that original album, went back in the studio, recorded more with some amazing players. And that was my first album, Plastic Wonderland. That was released in the 90s. Okay. So that kind of started my journey in, music. A lot of those songs played on TV and films. I ended up producing music for TV and films. And, I also started a show on ABC called The Extremists. There were a lot of things. Gabrielle Reese was the star of that. So my whole career has been really entwined with my acting, music, photography, mentoring. I mentor so many people. I've helped a lot of people in all careers, music, acting, really anything that somebody wants to do. If they come to me, I can help them make it happen, because I've had so many experiences in so many different careers.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people in the old days, and especially famous people who I knew at the time, because I was hanging out with a lot of them, I think the height of my acting career was definitely in my mid-20s when I got an award, an Emmy, for my acting on 21 Jump Street. And the old entertainer Bob Hope actually gave me the award on TV. That must have been
real cool.
That was awesome, but it was also the time when I got the award on TV, and I thanked everybody who's helped me, and managers, agents, and people in my life. I also was kind of at a place where I needed to do more. And I think at that time I really dove into production, music, producing, kind of promotional trailers, TV stuff. I kind of went more behind the scenes at that point.
Right.
And that would be my late 20s.
Okay. So speaking of all the gigs that you've just kind of touched over real quick, anything current coming up or anything that you're working on that you can share with us?
Well, I did the tribute to my late father, Henry Nemo, with the great Billy Vera. That was released this year.
Right.
So we did a jazz tribute to my dad, and we sang, obviously his hit you mentioned, "Don't Take Your Love From Me." But we also performed a duet of "'Tis Autumn," which is his other big hit.
That's a good jam. I love that song.
Yeah, so we did that, and then Billy and I both did another rendition of "Don't Take Your Love From Me" on that release, and I also did a cover of one of Billy's songs. So it was an amazing time. We had such great musicians in the studio. We recorded a lot of it live there, and it's a great memory, and I'm so glad I did that. So I guess I'd say my upcoming gigs is I do want to do a music video with Billy Vera. I do want to get at least one video maybe for "'Tis Autumn" together. And I just acted in a film I'm producing, and that's going to be released soon. And we're also shooting another one in early 2020 that I will also be acting in. And I'm bringing a lot of my friends from the 80s into the film, which will be even funnier, who are actually some well-known actors now.
Right.
And I think we're just going to have a blast. It's going to take place on a yacht, and it's really going to be silly, but it'll be fun. A lot of the stuff I write and produce now is like dark comedy. I really love that genre.
Right.
It's kind of my sense of humor. It's a little dark, but
you as long as I've known you, that's been you. That's like, oh God, what's she doing now? Oh Lord, here we go. I mean, I'm honored not just to have you on the show because of what you've done, but I mean, you're a good friend. You've always been a good friend. We grew up together, darn near, you know.
Yeah.
We grew up with some amazing people. Back then they were amazing. They've become amazing now. And speaking of those amazing people, when you did Jump Street, you played Dorothy Pezzino. And tell us about Dorothy and who Dorothy was and all that good stuff.
Okay. So, Dorothy was actually the producer of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Named my character after like a high school girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that funny?
Well, we also know somebody else who did that.
Yes. And, she was kind of like an open canvas. I could pretty much create her how I wanted it to happen. You know, when you're an actor, you are the artist. You get to create what you want. And then the job of the director is they tell you either to tone it down or do a little more. I think I landed right in the middle in a perfect way because that's why I got the award.
Right.
And, I really enjoyed the character. And I think where I fit the part is I was joking around, on set, kind of going, oh, you can't eat the bread, doing like Italian New York. Don't eat the bread, and then everyone's laughing really hard. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll run with this, So I kind of went into like pain in the A, Dorothy Pezzino, which was fun. The scary part about being on a hit show, though, is some people take you seriously because they don't understand the difference between, make-believe and reality. So when you start getting lots of fan mail and people getting upset at you for not treating the other person nice on the show, that kind of shows you the reality of how big something can get. Yeah. And I think I'm really, really grateful that I had that experience at the beginning of something so big. Right. Because at one point, it was like being in the Beatles, and I am not kidding. I'm serious, like being in a limo with Johnny Depp at one point, and girls throwing themselves on the cars. I'd have to say, I just watched a documentary on George Harrison. Martin Scorsese did it. It's amazing. You should watch. It's a 3-hour documentary, but it's worth it. I mean, they show a lot of that whole Beatlemania thing. Okay, so they've got a lot of crowds and stuff, but there was this one press conference we went to when the show had gotten really big, and kids had been, and these are teenagers, just like the whole Beatles time, they were waiting around the block for days, and by the time we drove in, they were jumping the car, throwing the bodies on the car, and then we actually had to fake decoys coming out of the press conference, it was scary. We had times when I was in Florida with Johnny and we got chased at Disneyland and I was like hyperventilating. I mean, it got to that point. And I think the lesson it taught me is this, because I know a lot of people who say, I just want to be famous. It's just going to make everything better. Fame does not make everything better.
Right.
Fame is something that you have to be ready for. And that's why a lot of people take a big dive after they become famous, because they are not ready or geared up for that experience. What I learned as an artist is that's something I never really wanted after that. And the reason why is because I like my privacy, and I like having a regular life sometimes.
Exactly.
And, so there would have been times I was having dinner with Johnny and people would just swarm us at the restaurant. I couldn't eat. I had fans running after me. I mean, it got kind of crazy for just, such a short time. I saw kids faint in front of everyone. I mean, you kind of go, wow, this is a level of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And as an artist, I know people say, oh, I just want to do this, it's going to be better. But, really, if that's something you really want, I think people need to really know what the trade is.
Right.
The trade is once you get that famous, you are working for other people. You do not have the freedom to do what you want to do. It changes everything. And that's why I think at that point in my 20s, I was like, there's got to be some real living.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young people don't understand that. I think they just see the stars in their eyes and they don't understand what comes along with it. I'm hoping that if some people hear this, they will really understand what happens. This happens in music also.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of your freedom taken away.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. So I guess that kind of dovetails into your company, G Plan Media. So what's going on with that?
So I have G Plan Media and I have G Plan Music.
Right.
G Plan Media I relaunched my company in 2012, and it's a newer production company because my previous production company I had with someone else, and I closed that one down. I had a massive contract with Sony with my other company, and my company had produced the trailer for Avatar, so we were big time. And when I left that partnership, I decided to start my own company, which is G Plan Media.
Right.
And I produced a lot of more independent projects, pilots, TV pilots, commercials, music videos.
Right.
So I like to shoot stuff that's interesting and cool. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I would go to Georgia and shoot a pilot, or, I'm working on a docu-series right now. Mm-hmm. So then I decided to do the music division. I have a couple artists signed to that division. I'm thinking of signing young rap artists now.
Right.
So I have a guy who's kind of like spoken word poetry, but with like an American folk sound, which I thought was very different. And then I've got this other guy who's fantastic, kind of alternative rock pop, he's Austrian, but he lives in Ireland.
Right.
And I met him in Ireland, and when I was a kid playing, I was doing a festival there. I was doing a poetry kind of music festival. I did perform in Ireland. Mm-hmm. That was a few years ago. And I also did a couple shows in England, too. London, performed jazz in London and stuff. So I've been around. But, I'm interested in also helping artists, Like I helped our friend Phil get into the whiskey.
Right.
I always help people. I help people however I can because, I believe, and this is what other people need to know, because I think people have a lot of fear about helping others.
Yeah.
They need to know that the more help and love you put out there, there's nothing to fear.
Yeah, the more it's going to come back to you, too.
Well, if it's your time, it's your time. No one's going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
I wanted to help Phil because he needed a little jump start there. It's, the way the music business works is, they don't usually let new people in.
No, they don't.
They don't let newcomers in. And so sometimes I have to kind of pull, hey, you owe me.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I do, I was like, I sent you a couple artists years ago, now you need to help me with this one. Because you're the one making the movie. I'm just helping. So
exactly.
That's how I do things, and so far I've seen a lot of people do really well with my help. Their careers have been boosted. I advise them. I've got a lot of young actors now. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. But, I think next year is really going to be a big year for G-Plan Media because we just finished this film that's going to be released soon. That's going into the festival circuit.
Okay.
And yeah, and a lot of the actors in this film, it's a dark comedy Western, are guys that I actually manage, talent that I manage.
Right.
So they're going to get a boost as well because as soon as this gets out there, it's really funny. They're definitely going to get some attention. So I wrote it. It's a very funny sense of humor. I don't even know how to describe it, but we're not as slapstick as like Ben Stiller or Seth Rogen. We're not going that far.
Yeah.
But there's some silly stuff that, is just out there stuff that'll just make you laugh. And
I'm looking forward to
part
seeing it when it's done.
there,
Let me know when it's out there so I can turn on the TV. It's funny.
I will.
I was remembering, as I have when I've talked with my friends, of course the memories come flooding back. And I kind of remember when Jump Street came out, I was at my mother's house cleaning up, doing something, because I had just gotten out of college.
Yes.
And I just had the TV on, and I think it was on Channel 11 at the time or something. I forget.
Yeah, it was Fox.
Yeah.
It was a Fox show.
And I look up and I hear the sirens. I forgot what the scene was or anything. And I look up and it's like, oh, okay, this is a cool little show. So I'm still cleaning. Next thing I know, I hear this extremely familiar voice and I'm like, oh my God, that's Pete. Oh my gosh. He landed a show. Well, all right. And that's why I started watching it. Because I watch stuff and I'm the guy who will sit at the end of the movie and read the credits to see if any of my friends are part of this in the behind the scenes. And I started watching, and I see, and I get the gist of the show and the plot and the premise and everything. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool show. I can work with this. And then I look up.
That was the beginning. That was like the beginning of Fox taking off. I mean, that was their big show. And let's talk about casting for a second because that's something I help, and we'll get to my school. That's what I do when I advise actors. I can tell you this is like a little basket to help people understand how casting works.
Right.
When Peter and all those guys had first auditioned, they didn't hear anything for like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So they auditioned. And then it just disappeared like all the other auditions. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, they get the phone call. Mm-hmm. Another example of casting is when I went in for my part, and this is what I try to tell people all the time. I say, you can only do the best audition you can do.
Right.
The rest is what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. And when I talked to the producer, I reminded him of his first girlfriend. and then all of a sudden, here you go. Yeah. And it's because I was like somebody that he had loved at one point.
Yeah.
And so as far as casting, I do want to say something that a lot of people don't know. The original pilot of 21 Jump Street didn't have Johnny Depp or Stephen Williams. Mm-hmm. The original pilot had a guy named Jeff Yeager as the lead. They spent $1 million on the pilot, and they had a guy named another actor named Frederick Forrest.
Right.
They put that pilot to testing audiences, and they just didn't get enough of what they wanted. Here comes Johnny Depp and Stephen Williams. Mm-hmm. Reshoot the pilot. There you go. It's a hit.
Yeah, there you go. And I remember seeing Stephen doing some episodes of Supernatural. I'm like, see, this is how it works.
Yeah.
And it was.
I talked to him a little while ago because I used to be at his house all the time. He's so funny, and he was working with someone else I know on some other project, and I just said hello to him on the phone, and he's so funny. He's like, "How are you?" It's very cute. I hadn't seen him forever.
Yeah.
But great memories. I flash back a lot to my acting days. I didn't just do Phone Drugs. I did another show called Trial by Jury. Mm-hmm. I did another show on ABC. The reason why a lot of that stuff isn't up on the web is because it was before the internet. Remember,
right,
it's like
yeah.
And even a lot of my performances in clubs were done on videotapes. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of that stuff got warped in storage. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different world now. So a lot of my older stuff didn't come on, but I had done a lot of other stuff besides that. But it's okay. Just my other movies will go up, and then I'm up for another director came to me and asked me if I want to do this film with Billy Baldwin. I don't know yet. We're talking about it. It's a murder mystery, which I thought would be cool. So I'm not sure if I'm going to, do it or not. I'll have to talk to the producer and director. But, yeah, so as far as the actors on 21 Jump Street, I'm starting to flash back to that stuff a lot because we were all that age of a lot of the guys I'm working with now.
Yeah.
They were all, a lot of my main guys were in their 20s, 30s. They're all going out for, all sorts of stuff. I mean, a lot of my actors are working more in independent projects than network, but they're still booking a lot of gigs. And one of my guys who I am managing, Alphonse Philippe Mouzon, he was one of the little kids in Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
He's up for a Marvel show right now, and I took him to go see Danny Glover in L.A. a couple years ago, and they just were so happy to see each other. It was like a reunion, 30 years later.
Yeah.
And it was really cute, and we took loads of pictures. So, yeah, Alphonse is up for this Marvel show right now. So, I mean, we're getting hotter and hotter, closer and closer, plus they're the leads in my films. So, I think things will be really happening in the next year or two.
Yeah.
So,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been checking out some of, guys, we're both on social media and we're on each other's Facebook page, and I saw the postings you had of Alphonse and some of your other people, and that leads me up to the Ventura Acting School. So what's up with VAS?
I moved out of LA about 15 years ago. Right. I do a lot of business in LA. I'm always there. I meet other people at like private clubs. I do red carpet events, and I do all that, business meetings, studio meetings. So I'm always in LA. I decided that I wanted to help people, and I think this will help people too who are listening to your show from all over the place. Okay, I truly believe. I think the old guard is like, you have to be in LA, you have to be in New York if you want to make it. Okay, this is the way people talk all the time. All right? Now, I don't necessarily agree with that because I've seen what I can do with people who do not live in LA.
Right.
But they tap into LA also. Okay? With all of the opportunities out there now, with online casting and everything, you can submit yourself on like all these different casting sites and everything. All the different independent productions on Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, studios going up everywhere. There's all these different launch pads for entertainment. There's so many more opportunities now. I don't agree with that. I say do the work, become a really good actor, and just submit yourself to as much as you can, and try to reach out to producers and directors.
Right.
And, number one thing, build your reel. You got to get your reel built. So, and your resume. So my thing is about the school is, so I launched this school to help people, that necessarily don't live in LA but live in the area. I have students from all over Ventura County. I have people from LA even come up to pop into my classes. I have people from New York popping into my classes.
Right.
I work with loads of LA people who go back and forth as well, privately as well as in private groups and classes. I do Skype with a lot of people. So, I started the school. It's a TV film school. It's not a theater school. I did not want to do a theater school because my background, although I have done a lot of theater and a lot of stage, I really, really, I'm gearing up to shoot films and TV stuff and all that stuff. So I really wanted to kind of go with the flow of what my vision is.
Yeah.
And, so I launched the school, and now it's growing like crazy. I mean, I have to add 2 more classes this next month. And I'm happy about that because I'm meeting such amazing people. What the other cool thing is, I've got older people coming back to it, too, which I like that.
Yeah.
They're like, they kind of got away from it. They went and did other careers, and now they want to come back into it. And I love that. I love that they're like, I want to do something I really love to do. I'm at a place now where I can do that. I don't have to work 24/7.
Yeah.
I can kind of do that. So a lot of this new class, this new camera class where we actually work on auditioning on camera, they're a little bit older of a crowd, which will be nice for me. So yeah, that class, I just started it and it's already filling up. And I think why my school is doing so well is not only am I teaching them how to be good actors, I have a really good technique for auditioning that is a proven skill that has shown proven results. Mm-hmm. And, I'll also help them with industry inside information. Yeah. And I help them get started. I make sure I look at their resumes. I basically act as like manager, agent, teacher, mentor, kick you in the butt so you get yourself out there. I mean, that's who I am.
And let me tell you, you have that look, especially when you put on the famous hat. I saw that picture that your it looks like a fedora.
My fedora.
Yeah, your fedora, your beige one. And I saw the pictures that you took when you were down at the that last awards show, and I saw the hat and the glass.
We were at an Emmys event, yeah.
There you go. And I'm like, well, you look at this girl. And I showed it to Nicole, and she's like, what is Gina doing? I said, she looks the part, though, doesn't she? Oh, no doubt. And Nicole told me to tell you hi. And
tell her hello.
And we still have the little salt shakers that you gave us when we got married. So they're displayed prominently on our shelf in the kitchen there. We got a little display cabinet full of all sorts of stuff. So it's like, that's it. Because, all of us went to high school together, and then we branched off, and we grew up and became who we become now. I'm trying to get this podcasting thing, which is part of Kim's Entertainment. And we have an author with us. So good. I never thought I'd get into that part, but it's like, you know what? Hey, we'll make it happen. So you already have mentioned that some of your students are getting cast and are doing their own projects, and obviously they're indie folks. So let's just jump to the next one, which is about the photography and the videography. And I know you do a lot of the videos. You're behind the scenes. I've seen some of the photos that you've taken while you're working. So what kind of cameras are you using, and why do you like them?
So I actually started shooting on the set of Jump Street. Mm-hmm. I had actually, I'd be hanging around the set, and I'd be like, that looks really cool over there.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that how it always starts out?
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that would look really awesome the way the light is. Someone lent me a camera. It was an old Canon AE1, which was one of the first film cameras, and I started shooting with that. And I have never shot with anything but a Canon. Mm-hmm.
They're great products.
Now I have a professional SLR, which I shoot all my actors' headshots. I shoot on set. I shoot in the classes. I've produced a documentary that's on Amazon and stuff. It's a little bit. My documentary is not for the lighthearted. It's a very serious, dramatic piece. What I did is I wanted to always, we'll talk about poetry after, but I had been going to different countries with poets and doing festivals and all that, and I really wanted to interview some of those people and put them in the film. And what the message is really about the words, and we can talk about that more if you want.
Yeah.
But but that was all about me shooting and what I wanted to do. And as a filmmaker and a photographer, you are the captain of your vision, and you have to decide, what you want to portray. And I think the best part about shooting things, whether it's a still camera or SLR, or shooting a movie or a documentary, is you get to bring your vision to life. Right. And I think the one thing I've always loved about photography, and I'm really good, if you look at every photograph that I shoot person, and I posted a lot of the headshots, just look at their eyes. Yeah. Because every person I shoot, their eyes come alive. And that's because I bring out who they are, and I make them feel really relaxed and comfortable to a point where they let that inner part of themselves shine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the awesome part of capturing that moment,
Yeah.
because you are getting something from someone. I know this happens with me. I kind of relate it to magic in a way, because it is like a kind of a cool connection, chemistry, magic. But I could actually, sit with someone for a while, someone who has never been in front of the camera, and I could make them feel comfortable. And I think that is all about being who you are as a person and being good to everyone and never placing judgment, and looking at a person for who they are and saying, okay, I see who you are. Let's just bring that out. Let's bring out who you are, because I don't really want you to be someone else.
Yeah.
Because what's the point?
Yeah, there isn't any. If you're yourself, everything else just kind of falls into place. The genuineness comes out and everything, So that is really cool because, a lot of people who are indie, they do a lot of everything for themselves. And, people have to know what kind of gear works, what doesn't, and with musicians and actors and everything else, especially with musicians, you're going to have to, probably shoot your own shots or just have the equipment and say, hey, can you focus on this and do it
or whatever,
Exactly. I've got a buddy of mine who comes with me when the band is performing, and he helps me set everything up, and he also happens to be a deacon of the church that I work for, and so he and I set everything up. We tear it all down, and he does it with me for the band and everything, and he's also a videographer. He takes some pretty good pictures, and so he works the video camera and everything, so that is just... and I use Canons. I've got Canon. I've got a Canon Vixia.
Awesome.
And I run that actually through a capture box so that the services can be broadcast live on the internet. I've got to do all of that, and I got interested in not just performing, but also behind the scenes, because I actually didn't go to school for engineering. I went for the performance and for composition and arranging, and the rest just kind of over years just kind of fell into place. And so now I'm writing music, I'm performing it, and my forte is jazz, but I can play whatever's in front of my face. So when you get ready to do that next album, you better call me, because I want to sit in.
Okay. I think when it comes to live performance for me, I think I'm in a place now where I love recording in the studio. I love going in, and I've been working with the same people for 30 years, really. I mean, in the studio and stuff, or I bring in guest players and things like that. Oh, you remember Robbie Vinton played on my last album?
Yeah.
Remember Robbie?
Oh, yeah, I remember Robbie.
Yeah, his dad, Bobby Vinton, the singer. But Robbie played bass on my last album, which was more of an electronica album. I do have some jazz influence in there, which was Cicada. That was like my electronica album.
Mm-hmm.
So Robbie came and played a lot of the bass loops in that, and the bass tracks. And, I think I would say as an artist, if you do a lot of things, only thing I'm going to say, because a lot of people always ask me, that's the number one question, how do you do it all? Because I do a lot, producer, manager, director, singer, performer, actress again, photographer, I own a record label, I keep going on, right? So it's like 20 things, okay?
Yeah.
But the secret to success and getting ahead, and I see this happen every day because I make the steps towards that, is I always plan what I'm going to do, and I follow through.
Yeah.
You cannot be successful in anything if you just talk about it and you don't follow through.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
You can have projects in every different thing. Like I make a schedule. I say, hey, I'm going to finish the next film by March 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I start working and prepping now. I don't wait like, January 1st, 2020, man. I'm running now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am not waiting. You're doing something, I'm going to make a change in my life. Are you kidding me? You know, if you're that person, you're not going to make a change in your life because it should have happened sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm a true believer that you have to make little steps, create your stuff, and follow through.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, none of your ideas will ever come to fruition. And, you know, wasted time, wasted life. What's the point?
Exactly. Hey, when it comes to your projects that you're doing, after the project has been shot to some degree and you're happy with whatever copy you're going to use, first edit, second edit, whatever, do you do that editing in-house? Do you take it outside? Is it a combination of both?
Okay, so I have a situation where I work with my DP. He actually started his career with Quentin Tarantino, believe it or not. He is a really amazing guy, lives in L.A., and him and I work together. So I was at his place in L.A. a bunch of times working on the edit.
Mm-hmm.
So we are like, you know, it's funny. We were laughing because when we were shooting a pilot together, we always work together on all the projects.
Right.
We were shooting a pilot in South Central. I rented a huge warehouse, you know, and we set up 3 sets in the warehouse.
Gina in the hood.
Huh?
Gina in the hood.
Yeah, in the hood. And you laugh because, you know, Carlos is more familiar with a lot of stuff and gang stuff and all that stuff. So
yeah.
I was carrying a dummy gun outside, you know, outside of it's a place where a lot of big music people do their music videos. I mean, it's a well-known place, but it's right in the heart of South Central. So I had this dummy gun, and I'm just scaring it, and Carlos comes running out and says, "Put that fucking thing away." That's all right, sir. So he's like, you can't carry that out there, you know? And I was like, but I don't get it, you know? And it was funny because this was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was still worried about me.
Yeah.
And so I really don't know, but this is the best part about the whole story. You know, forget about that stuff because we were fine and everything was great. Mm-hmm. Another big band, what's that group where they just do harmonies with no music? They're pretty known.
Take Six?
Huh?
Take Six?
No, it's something tonic it's
Pentatonics.
Yeah, I think it's them, yeah. So this was a really funny moment. They were doing their music video the same time we were shooting the pilot. Mm-hmm. They had about probably 10 trucks around the place, plus, you know, 100 people working for them.
Right.
When we were doing our pilot, it was a stripped down about five people plus assistants and crew. Mm-hmm. So I did all the wardrobe, everything else. I hired makeup people and all that stuff. But, I mean, I did all that stuff. We had an ensemble of like 15 to 20 people. Mm-hmm. I produced the whole thing. So what I'm trying to say is we do a lot of stuff that most people have to hire people for.
Yeah.
But because I've had so many experiences in so many aspects of this industry, I can pull it all off. And that's what comes to my other lesson. I think it is good to have experience in a lot of different things, even if you're pursuing one thing, because it gives you a different point of view.
Yeah.
It also gives you a lot of skills.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people, even if they're musicians or anything or they're performing, that to get into an acting class because it just helps with your confidence when you meet with people. You have to think of yourself as an artist, but you also have to think of yourself as a business person.
Yeah.
It's 2 different masks, you know, or 2 different views in a way. You're using one side of your brain and how you approach people and how you connect with them. Mm-hmm. The other one is how you are connecting your art to other people. It's 2 different ways of thinking. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that's why a lot of artists lose out because they don't know how to be confident when they meet people or how to present themselves. I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, I still get a little nervous when I'm talking with people, but I learned do it scared. Don't let it show. Just do it scared because if you don't do it, scared, you're never going to do it. You just have to get out there and make it happen. So I guess I've gleaned from this conversation is that your preference to me is being behind the scenes. You seem to have more fun back there than you did up in front. Is that true?
Yeah, I think, I have to say it's both. I think I'm enjoying this now, but I'm not saying I'm not going to go back in front.
Yeah.
So I think right now, because of all of my creativity and all my different skill levels, I can use most of those in being more behind the scenes, because I could do all these different things. When you're an artist, you just kind of are the artist. You don't get to do all the other stuff. But I'm not saying I'm not going to go back into it, because some opportunities have come up, and I'm also going to be acting in my film. So we'll see what happens. If I feel like I'm going back there, then I'll go back there. I really haven't decided yet. I just actually, got back my SAG and AfterCard. I just put that back in action. So we'll see. We'll see.
Cool. So what advice, other than what you've given, any other new advice or encouragement you can give to any up-and-coming artists, indie people who have been in this game for a while, anything?
You have to be passionate or nothing's going to happen. Don't do something because you think you want to get famous at it or make money at it, because, the universe will aspire against you, because that's not how it works. You have to do something you really want to do. Yeah. Forget about what other people say. Don't listen to people. My number one advice I give to my students, do not take an opinion from someone who has not lived it.
Right.
Okay? If someone gives you an opinion and they've never lived their dreams, why would you listen to them?
Yeah.
Why would you listen to them? Other thing I always say, always be the best you. Confidence is key. You definitely need to get confident if you want to win. That's why I was saying it's good if you can get into an acting class or a confidence building class, any artist, doing anything you're doing. And you've got to follow through. You've got to take the steps and follow through. Don't be scared. You've got to be brave. My father always said, even if you think, never think you're not good enough, because I could tell you, if you go into that room, you're going to be better than most of the people in there.
Yeah.
He always said that to me. Never think you're not good enough, because I can guarantee when you go in there, you're going to be better than a lot of those people in that room. And that was always what I held on to through all these years. So every time I questioned myself, I knew, well, I got to be better than some of those people.
You are. I'm biased because I know you. So it's like, I look at some of the stuff that's out there and I'm like, how in the bloody blue blazes did this even make it to TV? Or how did so-and-so manage to get their song on good old regular radio? And I'm like, I grew up with people who have more talent in their little finger than I'm watching right now. A few years ago when the VMAs came out, Nicole and I were kind of thumbing through some of the old photographs because we didn't actually watch the show. They were posted online, and she did a Google search, and we're looking through all of them, and both of us are like, who is that? Who is that? And we never heard anybody, and I've shared this with a couple of people. The only people, there I go with my bad grammar, that thank you, that we recognized were Aerosmith. And I'm like, is it because we're that old, or is it because these guys are just that? And I'm not knocking artists. I recognize we're all trying to do what we can do. But, folks, not just the acting lessons, but some of y'all need to take some music lessons, too.
Yeah, music lessons, if you want to be good at something, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just say, hey, I'm an actor. There's been a million times that I put people up on camera on a big TV screen in my studio, and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was that bad.
Yeah.
You know how often I get that? They're like delusional, like, oh, I'm a good actor. Then I put them on camera and we work on stuff, and they're like, oh, my God. And they're in shock.
Yeah, and I've had that happen.
This happens a lot.
It does.
It happens a lot.
It does. I've had that happen musically. Somebody's mama or daddy told them, oh, honey, you can get out there, you can go sing. And then I start playing for them Because, I mean, I could play whatever's in front of my face. It doesn't matter what the genre is, and they'll tell me their favorite song, and if I don't know it, I'll listen to it 5 minutes later. I've got the basics for it, and I say, all right, let's sing it. And they are so out of pitch, out of tune. It's like, are you really trying to sing the quarter notes? There's no such thing as a quarter note. It's, okay, here's what we're going to do, because I'm not a vocal teacher, but you need to, and I'll get the teaching, get the and I'll just lay it out there for them. And folks, it's not nothing meant to break your heart, but if you haven't put in the work, don't just think you're going to get behind a mic, get in front of a camera, or even get behind the mic or a camera and be that singer, that actor, that actress, that producer, or anything else without putting in the work.
You know how confidence happens? From experience. It's from experience. And it's interesting, and that's why I think artists have to let go with this whole idea that they need to be a certain thing and just be who they are and just, go with what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. We're just about down to the wire on this, so I got 2 more for you, and then we're going to call it a night or a day or whatever time this is that you're listening to this. So any way folks can reach out to you for the acting school or anything like that?
If they want to look up my acting school, if they're in the area, it's Ventura Actors Studio. We're based in Ventura County. I do also do Skype lessons if people need private Skype lessons. I'm not inexpensive though, because I have a lot of students. I'm not, I have to kind of block out my time, and that's valuable with everything I'm doing right now.
Right.
But I do help all ages, and if they want to go to the Ventura Actors Studio website, they're welcome to do that and send me a message there. The email's there and everything.
I'll put that in the show notes for everybody with the link.
Yeah, that's the best way.
Right.
Yeah, it has the email and the phone number there. They can get everything that's the site. So it's Ventura Actors Studio.
Cool. And this is the last one. I ask everybody this, especially since you say you're in L.A. all the time. What's in your car?
Okay. Mine is probably going to be very different, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Go right ahead.
So I've been listening a lot lately to Leonard Cohen's album Popular Problems. I really like that album. It kind of emotionally moves me. I'm thinking of actually covering one of his songs on that album.
Right.
And I'm actually thinking of going back in and actually cutting a blues album next. So I don't know if it's going to be a mix of electronica and blues or soul, but when I was younger and my career was, I had A&M Records after me, they wouldn't let me do, the producer at the time I was working with, who worked with David Bowie, I told him I wanted to sing blues, and he said, you can't do that because it doesn't make any money. He said, David Bowie wanted to sing blues also. Do you see him singing it? And I'm like, okay, fine. And then I just went with what he wanted. And when A&M Records came to see me perform, they wanted me to go more pop like Janet Jackson, and I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into pop music. I was always into kind of more, old-time stuff, 60s, 70s, soul stuff. I just didn't kind of do my thing. So Leonard Cohen has been, kind of on replay in my car right now.
Yeah.
Another band I really love is called One Eskimo. They're not as known, but I really love their music. There's a song of theirs called Astronaut that really touches me. And you should hear the track, because if you hear it a few times, it'll get to you. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of electronica. One of the bands I'm into right now is 07. Their album Simple Things is something I really like. And I am also into some rap music. I did work with rap artists in the 90s. I worked with Warren G. I worked with Warren G when he had his album Regulate. I was I was his publicist, and then I worked with Ice Cube's records, Lynch Mob Records at the time. So, and then Universal hired me to do music for their rap artists, but I didn't want to move to New York, so I kind of did that independently. So, yeah, I'm kind of into rap. I did love Post Malone's track for the movie Spider-Verse, the Sunflower song.
Yeah.
I really love that track, and I like that he has a distinct sound. I like, and he has some melody in there, too, which I like. So I think that kind of sums it up.
That's cool. Gina, it has been a pleasure and an honor. And I was looking forward to this. When I'm lining up all my guests, I'm like, okay, obviously I'm going to get people that I know and everything.
Yes.
Who am I going to go? Nicole asked me, who are you going to get? I have no idea. And I show her my little temporary list, and she's like, yes, call Gina. I'm like, I'm going to call Gina. Yes. So, I mean, not just because of the body of work that you have, but you're just a good soul. I've known you forever, and you're just a good soul, a good person, and I miss you.
I miss you too. Hopefully I'll see you guys one of these days. I know we've got reunions coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, there you go. That's all. It's all good. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I've actually thought of also guys like JD and a bunch of people at one time. Like maybe doing a little gathering in LA or something, because I want to see. Remember JD Dixon and all that. So yeah, I want to see a bunch of people there too. So maybe we can get a little get together going.
There you go. Exactly. It's been so much fun talking with you, and thank you again.
Been fun. Yeah.
And everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Gina Nemo, and
thank you.
I will have all of the contact information for the Ventura Acting Studio in the show notes. And you guys, go back and watch 21 Jump Street. See my girl when she was at her height.
That was I was going to say my award show, if they want to see, is the Blu Flu. The Blu Flu. The episode, the Blu Flu, is the one I got the award for.
Cool. So again, that episode is called The Blu Flu from Season 3, Episode 8 of the TV show 21 Jump Street from 1989. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Music Outlook LA, Gigs, Gear, Info. Thanks again to my guest, Gina Nemo. Be sure to check out the show notes for her website info, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here at Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. Music Outlook LA is also available on Apple Podcasts, aka iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, CastBox, the TuneIn Radio app, and Listen Notes, the podcast search engine. I'm Will Kimsey, aka WK Music. Peace. This podcast is both brought to you and produced by Kimsey Entertainment, LLC. Music Outlook LA is a copyrighted broadcast of Kimsey Entertainment, LLC. The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Will Kimsey or Kimsey Entertainment, LLC. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or any other use of this product without the express written consent of Kimsey Entertainment, LLC is strictly prohibited.